This is News 6 Tonight.
Hello, welcome to News 6 Tonight. It's a Wednesday edition. We are halfway through the week, and what a week it has been. It's been super busy, but we're so happy that you carved out just a little bit of your time for us tonight to join us to catch up on some of the day's headlines because people are busy,
Yes.
as we know, and you don't get to see all the news stories and you don't get to see some of the big stories. So we just try and tackle the big headlines for you and bring you up to speed on what's going on throughout the day. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Lisa Bell filling in for Matt Austin tonight.
How's it going this week for you?
It's going okay. You and I think are both battling a little bit of a cold. There's a lot of stuff going around right now. It seems like everyone I'm talking to is
I
sick with
traveled
something.
over the weekend, so I don't know if that has something to do with it, but when I woke up this morning, my throat felt sore and scratchy and it was raspy and I sounded like a dude. I
Well,
we talked about this.
yes.
My voice is very deep when I'm sick.
We're going to try and get through the night without coughing.
Good luck.
Right. And then, of course, so, we started off the week with that terrible weather Sunday night into Monday morning.
Oh,
We're going to
yeah.
have more on that coming up. But we want to start tonight with an update to a story that was just tragic that we first brought you back in 2023.
Yeah.
And this was a car accident that happened in Osceola County. And a grandmother was in a car with her three young
Oh,
grandchildren,
just
ages
heartbreaking.
11, 9, and 1 at the time. And they were hit by another vehicle who was going like more than 70 miles per hour. And the driver of that vehicle was 15 years old, should not have
Crazy.
been behind the wheel.
No.
So, an interesting turn of events. That teenager's dad is now facing trial for that crash. And he's been in court this week. Our Laverne McGee has been there. And today, a jury came back with a verdict in this case. Let's go ahead and listen to Laverne's story.
A jury has found that Richard Ferguson is guilty of vehicular manslaughter. I'm Laverne McGee, your Osceola County community correspondent. They say that he let his son take the car. He was unlicensed, underage. His son then got into a car accident. 4 people were killed. This was back in September of 2023.
With your participation has found you to be guilty of 4 counts of manslaughter.
The verdict from this Osceola County jury only took a few hours. In 2023, Richard Ferguson allowed his then 15-year-old son to drive his car even though the teen did not have a license. The teen blowing through a stop sign at 70 miles per hour, hitting a 50-year-old woman, killing her and her 3 grandchildren. Ferguson denied he gave his son the car.
You never gave Rayshard permission to drive the car.
No, nor did I give him the keys. And if you listen to all 3 witnesses, they brought in here, they said I didn't give him the keys.
The jury disagreed, on Wednesday finding him guilty of vehicular manslaughter. While Ferguson's son took a plea deal and is expected to get out of jail in 2027, his father will now await sentencing. This also brings a measure of closure to the family of the victims.
Take responsibility. Too severe? No, his family's alive. Mine is gone. So no, I do not think it's too severe.
Wow.
And when you hear from that mom, I mean, I remember when this case happened, to lose your mom and your 3 children instantly. I don't even know how you begin to recover from something like that.
I don't think you ever recover. You just hope for some sort of closure maybe with this case, and I don't even know if you can get closure for something like that. And the deal is the son is serving a term. He copped a plea deal. He took a plea deal, and he'll be out in 2027. And it may end up
19.
when he's 19. His dad will end up likely serving more time than he did, but it is also just a warning for parents. You have to know what your kids are doing, and you have to tell them how serious something like this really
And
is.
certainly, he was accused of actually giving his son permission, which is the jury agreed with that assertion. So absolutely, I mean, you do something that's so irresponsible and negligent like that, and 4 people lose their lives because of it.
Yeah.
It is I guess good to see that someone's being held accountable. But to your point, he is 68 years old and is now facing decades behind bars for that.
That's incredible. So you just have to make better choices. That's the bottom line there. The story that you mentioned earlier, we've been covering all week, is the devastating flooding that's happening in Lake County. And you were there Monday to see it firsthand. You were in Mount Dora.
Yes.
And Emily McLeod was also there with you. And she's been there. She's continued to be there all week. She's the community correspondent correspondent for Lake County, and she's been doing a great job going back every day and trying to hold officials' feet to the fire and getting answers. Well, now we're starting to see, the water is gone for the most part, and people are trying to get back to normal as they can. But there are these businesses. People are saying, hey, Mount Dora is still open for business, but it is hard for them to conduct business if some of the roads are closed and people can't get to them and their homes. I don't know if you've ever toured a home that has suffered flood damage. It is devastating.
Yeah.
So Emily McLeod went back to Lake County today to Mount Dora and talked to some business owners about how they're coping.
Just 7 weeks before she is set to give birth, historic flooding caused a washout underneath Claire Ernst's home, leaving it condemned.
We just finished getting the nursery ready on Sunday, and so I was really hopeful that we would be back, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
On top of the damage at home, Ernst is also feeling the impacts of this weekend's weather at her business, Claire's Creperie in downtown Mount Dora. For business owners, the washout on Donnelly as well as the flooding has led people to believe downtown isn't open.
But what we want to tell everybody is downtown's still open. There's other ways to access it besides Donnelly, and we need you to.
But if you come to downtown Mount Dora, it's a completely different picture compared to the damage that was left behind over the weekend. But some business owners tell me they're still taking a big hit to their business. Lisa Winslow owns Home Garden Treasures. This is supposed to be the start of their busiest time of year.
There couldn't be a worse time because fourth quarter is when people are here, the weather is nice, and people want to come to downtown to find unique things.
Just a couple doors down, Amy Becker, who owns Becker's Best Shoes, shares the same concerns.
Just over the last 2 days, and this morning we're over 40% down in sales.
I mean, it breaks your heart when you see that damage. You saw the home of the woman who owns the creperie, and her house was just sitting on a tiny little island. There used to be earth all around her.
To your point, though, earlier, one of the state officials who was touring some of the damage today was Kevin Guthrie, who is the executive director of the Florida Department of Emergency Management. And even prior to hurricane season, I know our Julie Broughton interviewed him one-on-one, and basically his message to Floridians was, if it rains at your house, you need flood insurance. We are at a point now.
Everyone needs it.
Everyone needs it. And it's relatively inexpensive if you're not in a flood zone. And the cost of having to repair flood damage, to your point, tens of thousands of dollars, because you got to clear out all of your flooring. You got to take out your drywall.
Yeah, and you got to make sure there's no mold building up in there.
Yes. And so we're talking about anywhere, depending, $200 to $1,000 typically for a flood insurance policy in this.
Yeah, I mean, and still, don't get us wrong, that's a good chunk of change. But compared to what you will have to,
than $100,000,
what you will have to pay on the backside if you have some serious damage to your home. But our hearts go out to the people in Mount Dora. And I'm looking at the things in those shops. I'm like, you know what? We need to make time to go down there. And this is when we as citizens can go and flood them with some business if you can, especially for the holidays. So it's real. And Small Business Saturday always comes up right after, I think it's after Black Friday. Yeah. So it's a good time to go and show those people some love in the community.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the holiday season, Halloween is on Friday, and Halloween for the longest time has been one of my favorite holidays. And I first moved to Orlando back in 2007, working in downtown Orlando. And I had no idea what Halloween was like until that very first year in downtown Orlando on Orange Avenue. And it was a place that I think so many people just really loved to be on Halloween night.
Yeah, it's festive.
Well, unfortunately, this Friday marks 1 year since there was a mass shooting on Halloween in downtown Orlando, and 2 people lost their lives. 7 others were hurt. Another person was injured by being trampled on as a mass crowd starts
running away from wherever you're hearing gunshots.
Yeah. And so we do know since then a 17-year-old has been charged with murder, but one of the parents of the victims is now suing the city, as well as the people behind that block party at Wall Street Plaza, demanding change. And so here's a little bit of a story that we aired earlier today about that lawsuit that is now taking place.
Almost a year after the mass shooting during Halloween festivities in downtown Orlando, the families of the 2 victims who died are taking legal action against the city of Orlando and the operator of Wall Street Plaza.
I would urge anyone in Central Florida to not go to downtown Orlando. They clearly don't have things figured out.
Timothy Schmidt Sr.'s world was upended in the early morning hours of November 1st, 2024, when his son, his namesake, was shot and killed while out in downtown Orlando.
Extremely difficult. We can only imagine what they've been going through.
McCarran's representing the parents of Timothy John Schmidt Jr. and Tyreek Hill in identical lawsuits filed against the city of Orlando and Downtown Power, LLC.
There's different things that obviously could have stopped this whole thing from happening.
The lawsuits allege negligence on the part of the city and Downtown Power. The suits claim that the city, quote, through its OPD officers and agents, negligently failed to implement its policies and procedures and failed to maintain the area.
Where were they and what were they doing?
The suits list a slew of alleged failures pertaining to things like security, training, and lighting. In an email to News 6 Wednesday, Downtown Power's owner said, quote, I don't know why we are part of the lawsuit because the incident didn't happen on our property and it didn't happen inside our permitted area.
Were they just responsible for this little small section of Wall Street, or did it expand outside?
And just so hard for those families. Timothy Schmidt, I believe, is an only child raised
So
by a single
tragic.
dad.
Yeah.
And for something like that to happen in a place that you would hope would be safe, that there would, something
Yeah.
like that would not happen.
Yeah, I was down there live the day after it happened, and they had streets closed off, and it was really hard to get to after that. And they kept them closed for a while, but now I believe most of that is back open again. And with the beautiful weather we have coming our way, there are going to be a lot of people out there. And Halloween is just one of those times where people just love gathering and love going out. And this year is going to be no different. And unfortunately, hopefully the security and everything is a little bit better and tighter because they made some changes. But, there are people who don't have any idea that this happened last year.
Yeah. Orlando police did issue a statement to our Mike Valenti, who was covering that story, saying the safety and security of everyone remains the Orlando Police Department's top priority. While we don't discuss specific security measures, we always plan and staff large-scale events appropriately to provide proper public safety and assess the needs of the event to make any necessary security modifications.
Yeah. Well, it has been a big turnoff for a lot of people saying it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it because you have no idea. In a sea of people like that, all it takes is one bad actor.
That's right.
And it changes lives forever. Okay, stay with us because we're going to talk about another lawsuit, and this one's pretty unusual. And a lot of people say it
This
really,
is ridiculous.
a lot of
I'm
people
crying
say-
foul on this one.
Some people say it doesn't hold water. We'll be right back. Yeah, and you got the latest from the sheriff just a little while ago, I think. So make sure we have that for News 6 tonight. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We know you're busy, but news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
That's right. And this is News 6 Tonight, where we leverage this entire busy newsroom with our community correspondents, our producers, our content desk, and then we filter through that. We have a casual conversation about the news that impacts Central Florida.
Yeah, we live here in the community, and we rely on you for our neighborhood network because you're our eyes and ears as well, and we can't do it without you.
So you can watch us all over the place, YouTube, News 6 Plus app, and clickorlando.com. While you're here, feel free to engage. Let us know who you are and where you're from.
Okay, every once in a while you come across one of these stories and you're like, what did you just say? What are you talking about? There's a lawsuit that's happening. A woman in Orange County, she is suing the makers of this ride, or SeaWorld Orlando, I should say, where Mako, the ride, is. And it's a very popular ride. It's one of the tallest coasters in Central Florida. Well, while she was riding it, and we can show the video of how fast this thing goes, she was apparently struck in the face by a duck.
Correct.
This is not her.
No.
This video is not associated with her at all, but we're just showing you what Mako looks like when Mako operates. She's hired the law firm of Morgan & Morgan. They're suing for $50,000, and she's saying something to the extent that they should not have had a roller coaster built where there would be wildlife that fly
A
nearby.
body of water. I mean, you might as well, if that's the case,
It's Orlando.
you have to shut down every single theme park, really, in Florida.
It is crazy, but I mean, can you imagine? It's a pretty fast coaster, and if you get struck by something in the face going at that
Ouch,
speed,
sounds terrible.
it's,
I mean, that's why they tell you, when you get on something like that, to make sure you don't have a cell phone or anything like
or
that in
anything
your
like that.
pocket,
And I'm
because
pretty sure your tickets say that anything that happens to you,
it's
that's
your
on.
own fault.
We don't read that
But
before we
it's
get
my
on.
understanding, they specifically said that they were negligent, if you will, because they
Yeah.
built this roller coaster near
Near,
a body
yeah.
of water, which attracts birds.
Good luck with that. The ride she was on happened back in March, by the way. So it was just, I
This
mean,
is going to be an
it
interesting
knocked her
one to
out.
follow.
It knocked
Yeah,
her out.
because I mean, I imagine that would hurt. You're going at 60 miles per hour. I don't even know how fast it is.
I don't know if you remember this story, but it happened back in 1999. And you know the romance novelist, he was on all the cover of all those
Of
romance.
course.
It was Fabio.
Yes.
He was riding, and it was like the inaugural ride for this place. What?
Yeah.
Like I
Well, you see videos on social media
Yes.
that's happening to people.
It's called Apollo's Chariot Roller Coaster. It was at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. He wasn't struck by a duck. It was a goose. Do you know how big a goose
Bigger
is?
than a duck.
And it left him pretty bloody, but he recovered and everything was fine. So we wish this woman all the best.
I
But
mean, you hear it with airplanes having a bird strike. And
well, it's more serious with the airplanes because it will take a plane down. A flock of birds will take a plane down. Fortunately, this woman, hopefully she'll be okay. She's suing for $50,000. It could have been so much worse, and we just wish her the best. But it's just an unusual lawsuit.
all right, speaking of wishing for the best, we want to switch gears and talk about erosion along Volusia County.
Ugh.
Our Angie Casado is out there. Let's take a look at her update from Volusia County.
Back-to-back hurricanes, Ian and Nicole did a number on these beaches. Gone more than 6 million cubic yards of sand. 2 years later, Milton caused even more erosion. Now, as Volusia County prepares for what's next, it's bringing residents into the decision-making process on future beach management and storm resilience.
So following Hurricanes Ian and Nicole in 2022, we lost over 6 million cubic yards of our beach sand as a result of those two hurricanes. It was the largest dune erosion event we've had in our history of Volusia County. The state is funding the county's efforts to determine a long-term beach management plan.
The first meeting was Tuesday in New Smyrna Beach. Tonight at 4 o'clock, there will be another meeting at the Daytona Beach Shores Community Center, with a final meeting Thursday at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach from 4 to 7. Options include both engineered structures like seawalls, groins, or breakwaters, and nature-based strategies like beach nourishment, dune enhancements, and artificial reefs. Public feedback will direct what gets built and where.
We want the community to be part of the plan, and we want the vision to match the communities.
The study is state-funded, and final recommendations are expected next year.
Okay,
All right.
Lisa spent most of that story coughing. Are you okay?
Well, you can see obviously why it is just so critical that they're having these meetings and that they try and do something, because we're talking about condos and homes and
Oh my gosh.
livelihoods,
Yeah. And that's
all
even
literally on the edge there.
even without a storm, the erosion is bad. But can you imagine well, you don't have to imagine, you live here and we've covered it many, many
see it,
times.
yeah.
Yeah, you can see that. So it's just unfortunate that that's what we're facing. But that's at every single beach, not just here in Florida, but I'm from South Carolina. We go to Folly Beach every year, and I can see the shoreline just being eaten away. And it is sad to watch that sort of thing happen, and you feel helpless. You can try and bring sand in, but the the water's just going to reclaim it.
And
if
that's
you
what we have seen over and over again
Yeah.
happen down our coast. They'll,
Mhm.
renourish the beach, and within a year, so much of it
Have
is
to do it
gone.
again. Yeah, you feel like you're doing it and it's like not making a difference, but we'll continue to follow that story and hopefully the residents there will have some input as to, what they would like to see
And get some
happen.
answers.
Yeah, but if you're living there, you really feel like you're living on the edge and living on borrowed time, by the
Mhm.
way. All right, let's switch gears. Not even really, but meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is going to join us now. He has been a very busy man all week because we started the week with the flooding, and then we're talking about Melissa, and I feel like we've been talking about Melissa for the entire year, and the
Yeah.
the power of that storm is so just destructive. You hate to see that happen. The thing you said, Jonathan, and I didn't say that we were going to talk about this earlier, but there are people who we have not heard from yet who went in to
Yes.
try and figure out storm chasers. And the communication is so bad. It's been 24 hours. We still haven't heard from them. So we don't know the extent of the damage.
We don't, yeah, and it's going to be a while before we know what exactly went through. I've seen some aerial footage recently, and it looks ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks terrible.
It's awful.
So helicopters are starting to fly over that area, and I mean, as you might imagine, with a 185-mile-per-hour storm coming ashore. But yeah, it's going to be a while before we know the extent, and hopefully we continue to keep any kind of death toll at zero. We've not heard anything yet, to my knowledge. But again,
Yeah,
the
that's
worst hit
definitely going to
areas,
change. Yeah,
unfortunately,
more than
that's
likely.
in all likelihood. Now,
Mhm.
for us, our weather is going to get much
Look at that.
quieter. And if you like the cool stuff, look at what's going on right now in the Panhandle. Good show of hands. I know you love your coffee on the patio. I mean,
do.
every day this week, starting tomorrow, you are good to go for that nice, crisp feeling. Look at the temperature drop: 71 in Orlando, back to 56 in Pensacola. That's where the
Wow.
front has crossed through. It has moved through Tallahassee, and all of that drier air is coming down. So coming up tonight at 9:30, we're going to talk about the timeline of this front. We're going to take a look at how cool it's going to be for Halloween. Could not set some records, but it's been a while since it's been this cool. And then we're going to take a look long range in the tropics. Climate Prediction Center has highlighted a couple of areas still to the middle of November. So we're not
What?
completely out of it just yet. So we're going to take a look at where the Climate Prediction Center has highlighted in those areas coming up at 9:30.
After Melissa, I don't want to see another highlight from them. This has just been
Yeah.
Yeah,
devastating.
these are
but-
low lights.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, but
No
hurricane
question.
season runs until the end of November, so we can't. We're not done until December 1st. Sadly.
Fortunately not.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan. We'll see you. Join him at 9:30, where you can talk all about that and ask him questions. He loves questions, and you'll get an
Oh, yeah.
answer for you. All right. Thank you, Jonathan. All right. We will be right back.
Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart, also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down
Oh my
below.
gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh.
Welcome back, everybody. Before we go, we want to leave you with some hope.
Oh, yeah.
We are all dog lovers up here, and we asked the question earlier today. It's like, how if your dog ran away from home or you lost your dog, how long would you search for it?
I think if it just disappeared, you'd never really stop looking, right? Every
No.
time you see a dog,
That
you
looks
might,
like yours.
yeah, you would be like, "Oh, is that her?" You
Yeah,
know? So
that's
yeah, I don't think
crazy.
you would ever stop.
Well, there is this story. This dog was found 400 miles away from home 5 years
That's
later.
crazy,
I would love to see the journal in this little dog's mind.
right? Little
Your
GoPro.
your community correspondent Alex Cook has this awesome story.
I'm News 6's Alex Cook. How long do you wait before you give up on a lost pet? A little dog named Penny was just reunited with her owner here in DeLand after being missing for 5 years, and she went missing in Mississippi. Luckily, she was microchipped, and Volusia County Animal Services called her owner, who hopped a flight down to Florida and picked her up today.
It's been 5 long years since Christy Taylor saw her dog Penny. She went missing from her Loosedale, Mississippi yard, and they never found a trace of her.
We're so grateful that she was taken care of.
Last week, Brianna Rideout spotted Penny in her driveway in DeLand.
I saw what I thought was a cat in my driveway.
She and her boyfriend tried everything to find the little dog's owners. They posted in neighborhood Facebook groups, posted signs, and finally brought her in to Volusia County Animal Services to check for a microchip. The chip pinged, and Volusia County Animal Services called the Mississippi phone number.
I answered the phone and I was like, oh my gosh, Penny, we were just talking about her.
And when you got that call that she was down here, did you know immediately you just had to hop on a plane and get down here?
Oh
and
yeah,
get back
we
to
were
her?
coming to get our dog, yes.
Just one little microchip the size of a grain of rice can reunite an animal years and years later.
Penny's now back with her family on the road to Mississippi to meet her new furry siblings and resume life where she left off 5 years ago.
Penny is adorable.
She's so cute. It sounded like Penny called and said, "I'm ready to come home now."
Oh my, Penny. Come on back.
So happy. Get your animals microchipped, and that is why. And
Yeah.
don't ever change your phone number.
I know that's another
That's another thing.
remarkable
Yeah.
wrinkle to that
Yeah.
story.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.